Speedway presents NFL Blitz 2000.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 306, and it is another one of our prestigious Patreon poll winning episodes. If you don't know, last week we covered Donkey Kong 64, which won our poll a few months ago. Next week, we're hopefully covering Mario and Luigi Partners in Time for the Nintendo DS, which won our poll in June. And this week, we're covering NFL Blitz 2000, which won our poll from May, I think. I'm getting caught up here. I'm doing good. Now, look, all right, I know hundreds and hundreds of you have been waiting for this episode. If you know, you know. And it should be a good time. I enjoyed recording this episode, but I want to get a couple things out there right now so you don't, maybe this is your first Remember the Game or something, and you download it, and I don't want you to have to listen to the whole episode and then send me angry, hate-filled messages or pieces of paper with spit on them to my P.O. box or anything. I don't know very much about football, okay? I watch it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I like it a lot, mostly for fantasy football purposes. I'm also a Denver Broncos fan, but as you can imagine, times are tough. This episode is going to play out pretty similarly to our NBA Jam episode, all right? I played NFL Blitz 2000 a whole bunch. I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like about it. But I don't know who any of these players are. I don't know a lot about football terminology. I don't know what a flea flicker is. I don't think I even know all the rules. I know most of the rules to football. I mean, in NFL Blitz, most of the rules don't fucking matter anyways, but so if you're here for like a deep, in-depth dive into the world of NFL Blitz and just football video games, this might not be the episode for you, okay? This is just me and a buddy talking about what we like and don't like about the NFL Blitz franchise as a whole, and specifically, in my case, NFL Blitz 2000, which is the only one I've played, and I actually have quite a bit to say about it. I didn't watch or play any football growing up. I didn't play any football video games. I didn't even start following the NFL until the Tim Tebow season. I'm a Canadian kid that grew up obsessed with hockey, sue me. But I did buy NFL Blitz 2000 for my PS1 a few weeks ago. I've played it pretty religiously over the last couple of weeks. I've finally started to get good, and there's some stuff I absolutely love about this game. I'll spoil it right now. I straight up like NFL Blitz more than I like Madden. And there's some stuff that it's okay. I don't think this game is as good as NBA Jam, but I had a pretty good time with it. So my guest this week is the same fella that laughed at my lack of basketball knowledge on the NBA Jam episode, which is my buddy Brad, not to be confused with Bradley McHugh. We have a lot of Brads around here. Now, Brad used to play the OG NFL Blitz arcade cabinet all the time. I've spent a couple weeks screaming at my fumbles on the PlayStation NFL Blitz 2001 version, and now we're going to make asses of ourselves and talk about the complete and utter pandemonium that is the NFL Blitz franchise. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of complete and utter pandemonium, it is time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Thank you for listening. Consider this, listen, this is a warning, all right? Our intros are a little long. They're about a half an hour, 25 minutes, half an hour, but they're fun. We're talking video games and stuff. It's good times. Unless, and you know, if you don't drop your phone or something, we won't fuck you over with an inconveniently timed fumble like NFL Blitz fucking will. That fumbles? I'm sorry. I know we're not even into the NFL Blitz chat yet, and I know we're going to talk about this. I think I say these exact words in the game chat, and I rarely spoil the game during the infamous intro, but I just have to say, I don't love football video games. I don't, like, as a whole. It's probably, of the four major sports, I think football is probably my least favorite video game to play of the four, like a football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. And I think the thing that drives me the craziest about football is the fumbles. Because I get they need to be random, but they're just so, it's easy. Like, if you think online poker is rigged, play some fucking video game football. It is such a load of shit. It makes me so mad when I choke it on my own rage here. But we'll get to all that, okay? So seriously, if you want to skip the infamous intro, if you just want NFL Blitz talk, go to about the 30-minute mark. You should be there. But I recommend giving this a chance, all right? Give me a couple minutes. Let me get my plugs in. Let me keep the bills on, and then we'll talk some video games, all right? We have all kinds of merchandise with all kinds of awesome art. You can find it all at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Shout out to my man Joe from 4545 Creative for designing all of it. And of course, if you're like, I don't do clothes, I get it. You can always consider supporting us on Patreon. It's about the greatest deal in the history of the universe. Our patrons get up to 4 ad-free podcasts every week. We have a Simpsons show, Purple Monkey Dishwasher. I have a personal vlogging podcast, The Rambling Idiot, where I talk comedy, sports, not video games. What else do I talk about? Comedy, sports, my life, the business of this, everything. I have a gaming news podcast, Game Patch, where I look at all the biggest news in modern video games. And we have a video game potpourri show, an expansion pass. That one, we do rankings, characters, and console retrospectives. There's comedy episodes. There's modern game reviews. Last week, it was expansion pass 223. And I actually dropped my review of Nintendo World Championships NES edition for the Nintendo Switch. I was super fucking stoked when that game got announced. But now that I've done pretty well everything the game has to offer, I can't help but feel kind of like my parents when they talk about me. You know, I'm just a little bit disappointed. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass Nintendo World Championships NES Edition review. I think most people are going to say the worst game on this cartridge is either Ice Climbers or Balloon Fight, and they probably are the worst 2 games. But I will say, as somebody that grew up playing a ton of Ice Climbers and Balloon Fight, I have a little bit of a soft spot for those games. Honestly, you know what game fucked me around the most? Excite Bike. And I'm not hating on Excite Bike, but as a kid I didn't play it very much, and trying to play it now on this to do it as fast as possible, it is the smallest number of challenges of any of the 13 games in this, and it was easily the one that fucked me around the most. Easily. Oh, fuck. I finally rage quit Excite Bike. That was the last one for me to finish. I moved on because I was doing them in order, and I was like, I'm done with this. And I went and finished like Lost Levels and Zelda 2 and everything, and then I came back to fucking Excite Bike because god damn it, that game was pissing me off. But I do know that Ice Climbers and Balloon Fight aren't everybody's cup of jam. I understand. That's now available in our archives, and this week it's Expansion Pass 224, and we're going to tackle a topic that's been booted around the Remember the Game warehouse for some time now, and that is the funniest video games we've ever played. It's not going to be an official ranking episode or anything. It's just going to have some laughs and talk about some of the games that deliver on the lulls, because, well, I think video game comedy is tough to do. There are some funny fucking video games out there. So you can check that out and all of our other shows, again, for just $3 a month, which is what our Patreon subscriptions start at. You get new shows each week, instant access to hundreds of bonus podcasts in our archives, all 100% ad-free. Plus, you can join the Remember the Game Discord. You can vote in our Patreon polls. You get the ability to submit comments for our shows. You can DM with me, and you're even going to get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to at least 2 of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Katie Raymond, Terrence, Abraham Beltran, C-Tots, Blanca Lopez, Dan Fisher, Jordan Bourne, at Ty Kroll Music, Spirit Gun, Lay Vivian, Gengar is Life, Girthus Hungwell, I like that. That's a sweet porn name. Sabathius Uriel Viconius, not as good a porn name, but it's classy. Nick PB Cookie, Dylan Ware, and Mouth My Farts with Phillip. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all of that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And don't forget, we donate 5% of that income to Extra Life as part of my 24-hour stream every fall, and we offer annual subscriptions that'll save you your 12th month's fees. And finally, do not forget to check me out over on Twitch if you feel like watching me play and yell at old video games even more. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. I'm there whenever I have time. No real schedule, all right? That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we do, in fact, call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Crystal Lake Management, who said, "Hey, Mr. Blank, are the, check notes, Super Sexy sponsored episodes something of the past, or do they have some special rules? Asking as a semi-new supporter, wanted to do one if they are still a thing." I appreciate you asking, Crystal Lake. I get asked this a lot. There was a time a few years ago when I just wanted to, well, I'll be honest, comedy was dead, and I was like, man, I hope I can make some money with the podcast. And we were offering sponsored episodes where I think they were They're $100 or $150, and you could pick a game, and you've probably heard them in our archives. I'll play the game. I'll review it with a regular guest. You'll get to pop in and chat for 20 minutes or so as well. Honestly, the backlog of those just got too big. I didn't think anyone would sign up, and at one point, I think we had 24 of them. It took me a full year and a half to get caught up on the sponsored episodes, so they are not a thing right now. I do auction off a chance to come on the show and pick a game to talk about during my 24-hour stream every year, with all the proceeds going to Extra Life. I don't take a dime. And I am kind of considering bringing them back, but if I do, they'll be a limited edition, and they'll probably be, like, not to sound like Scrooge McDuck, but they'll probably be at a higher price point because I just couldn't keep up with them last time. So nothing right now, maybe in the new year. I don't think anything's going to happen this year, but thank you I get asked that a lot. So appreciate the interest, Crystal Lake. Thank you. Mopey36 said, hey, Adam, did you watch any of the Olympics? If you did, what were the highlights for you? For me, it was how wholesome most of the athletes were to each other and the B-girl ray gun. Have a great week, Adam, and the hot dogs. You too, Mopey. I did not watch, I think I watched about 10 minutes of volleyball. Not for the reason you would think. I was getting a haircut, and that was what was on TV. And shout out to Team Canada. Our women got the silver. And I saw a funny tweet when someone was like, how the fuck did we lose to Canada at beach volleyball? They don't even have beaches. Which isn't true. We do have one. We share it. But other than that, no. I didn't. All I caught from the Olympics, I don't mean any disrespect to the athletes, like a bunch of beasts, but it's not my thing. The only things I saw were highlights on social media, like the ray gun thing, of course. Like that pole vaulter that's just hung like a fucking jackhammer. That's the greatest thing ever. But no, the Olympics just not. Winter Olympics, I'll watch some hockey. But Summer Olympics, not really, not my forte. It could just be that I suck at all the sports and I'm mad. That's probably all it is. TJ Neal said, Adam, I hear you're hopefully moving shortly. We have just finished doing a bunch of renovations on our basement, and I wanted to ask if you could rate your handyman skills. Mine are completely terrible, and anything I complete needs to be fixed again by a professional. Are your skills like breezing through Mega Man 2 or more comparable to the grind of Elden Ring? We are moving. We're actually moving in 2 weeks, so warning everybody right now, I'm usually taking the first week of the month off now for episodes. There will not be an episode on September 4th, I don't think, because we're moving the last week of August and I need some time to get set up. Pretty excited. Thank you. No, my handyman skills, I don't know if I'm quite as bad as I used to be. YouTube takes me from like a 1 to a 2 because YouTube really can teach you anything. And thanks to YouTube, like I've painted some of my house, I've rebuilt a toilet, I've changed a battery in a car, but those jobs I just listed are about as complex as my handyman skills get. I am suck at fixing stuff. Works for me. Said, hello, Adam. My wife just started a new job with a nonprofit called Foundation Fighting Blindness. Part of her training is learning a lot about different reasons people lose their vision, and we got into a conversation about all the things people stop doing when they go blind. My wife mentioned video games, and it got me thinking. One of the trophies or achievements in the indie game Limbo is called Ding. It triggers after you complete a secret area in complete darkness. The only way to get through it is by listening to the sound of your footsteps and the sound of obstacles as they approach. On to my question. Doesn't matter if it's muscle memory or using the sounds, but is there any level in any game you think you could complete blindfolded? Dying multiple times is allowed, but you can't take the blindfold off until you've beaten the level. You know, truth be told, I've thought about like what would happen because I only see out of one eye. Most of you know that, but I'm blind in my right eye, or very, very close. So if something ever happens to my left eye, the show's dead because I can't play games anymore. It terrifies the fuck out of me. As far as what could I play blind, I think I could take an outside shot at the first level of Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, I'd be able to beat that one eventually. And then it's not the full level, but the first sewer in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. I have all 4 turtles to get through there with. I could like where you go and fight Bebop. I could get there eventually. But I think Super Mario Brothers would be the one. Yeah, I want to say Super Mario World, but I don't know if there's a single level in Super Mario World I could beat blindfolded. No, I don't think so. That's tough. That's you people that play games blindfolded are fucking monsters. You're beasts. Jackson Campbell said, hey, Adam, hope you're doing well. I was wondering what your favorite platformer not featuring an Italian plumber is. I would say either Donkey Kong Country 2, Rayman Legends, or Celeste. Yeah, I'll go with one of those 3. I don't know if I consider or Shovel Knight. I don't know if I consider Shovel Knight a full-blown platformer. But otherwise, probably one of those 3. Rayman Legends, or Celeste are the best non-Nintendo platformers I've ever played. And then Donkey Kong Country 2, probably the best Nintendo platformer not starring Mario that I've ever played. Gus the Bus said, please, Adam, sir, tell me, to have my children learn to respect the classics, do I need to purchase a Switch with an online Nintendo subscription, or would an NES and SNES classic suffice? I think the Switch is more fun because you can play modern games on it as well. But if you're literally just looking to teach your kids the classics, then I would scoop up an NES or SNES classic. While they are a little bit more expensive when they were readily available, you're still going to get one cheaper than a Switch. And this comes from the least tech savvy person you've ever met. They are super easy to hack. So you can put tons of NES and Super Nintendo games on there. Plus then they're playing them with the actual controllers too. So I would say if you're just focusing on teaching the classics, an NES or a Super Nintendo classic are pretty fire. Diddly Schlong said, do you remember any of the CDs you ripped to your Xbox or Xbox 360? I remember having Incubus, The Offspring, and Pink Floyd on heavy repeat. Americana and Dark Side of the Moon remain 2 of my top 10 albums. Americana is a great album. I did have some Offspring on my Xbox 360 was full of music. I had a ton of Offspring on there. I had a ton of Blink-182 on there. I had a bunch of Good Charlotte on there. I had some Eve 6. Shout out to Eve 6. Does anyone remember them? They were awesome. And then one of the big things I did was I went into, I remember which NHL game it was, but I put Nickelback's cover of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting in there. And that would play when my players came out because that's what Hockey Night Canada used to play. And I thought it was awesome. But yeah, mostly Blink, Offspring, and Good Charlotte. Good times. Man, I miss being able to do that. Good fucking times. And then finally, before we move on, of course, it's letter time. It's letter time. Adam Blank still hasn't covered himself in Nutella. That's what you think. Wrote in and said, have you ever thought of doing a monthly Patreon poll of terrible games? Like games we all know are bad across different systems? I think it would make for a fun poll and episode. I would like to immediately nominate Superman 64 for the first Awful Games Tournament poll. So, okay, here's the thing. We actually did do a Bad Games Survivor poll a year or two ago. I can't remember what won. I'm sure someone will write in and tell me. I can't remember what won, but it was actually a good time. And I guess now is the time to let the cat out of the bag. For August's Patreon poll, it's going to be Super Nintendo games. But for September's Patreon poll, I think I am going to do that. I'm going to do 8 bad games. The tricky thing about doing a bad games poll is that Superman 64 and Sonic 2006 are the 2 everybody asks for. And if I put those 2 on the poll, they're just going to dominate and run away. So the tricky thing is finding 8 bad games that are all semi on the same level so that one doesn't just dominate. I really try to avoid putting like one game on the poll that's just going to, like, if I was to put like The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess on a poll with like 7, like, you know what I mean? Like 7 regular games, like I know it's going to dominate. So the tough thing is coming up with 8 duds, but I do, cat out of the bag. My plan for September's Patreon poll is to go with 8 shit games. And then, well, actually, you know what? Wait, let me pull that back. Maybe we'll do that in October because that way the September Patreon poll could be scary games so that I do a horror game in October. And then at the end of October, we'll do bad games so that we do a bad game in November because November sucks anyways. So maybe that's what we'll do. But yes, we have done one in the past. We will do one again. The tricky thing is coming up with 8 games that are equally sucky. And that, you might think that's easy. That's not as easy as it fucking sounds. There's a lot of bad games, but there's a few spectacularly bad games. So it can be tough. Anyways, thank you for all the submissions, everybody. We need to keep the ball rolling. Let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play 1, remake 1, erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week, since we're talking NFL Blitz, I went with 3 midway sports games, or at least sports franchises, in NHL Hits, MLB Slugfest, and Ready to Rumble Boxing. And 29% of you said you'd play Ready to Rumble, remake NHL Hits, and erase MLB Slugfest. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Spirit Gun said, I'll play Ready to Rumble Boxing. Honestly, I don't remember much about it, but I know it's the only one out of the 3 that I have played. I'll remake NHL Hits, even though I've never played it. If it's anything at all like NFL Blitz, I'm sure it'll be fun. Then that just leaves the MLB Slugfest. I'm sorry, but baseball just bores the shit out of me. Common refrain, I get it. Apparently in Slugfest, I've never played Slugfest, but apparently you can fight while you're running the bases, which actually man, imagine if real baseball had that. It did once. And Jose Bautista got punched in his big fucking teeth. I hate that fucking guy. Red Ted Red said, play NHL Hits. As a Rangers fan, even I know not to mess with Scott Stevens and open ice. Agreed. Remake Rumble because the game was great and a refresh with trophies and an online leaderboard / Remember the Game League would be awesome. Erase Slugfest because Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest is still in this world and it is the better Slugfest game. I got a lot of love for Ken Griffey Jr., so can't argue with that. Philly D said, play Slugfest, because even though it'd be funny to throw in-game punches with Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez, the show is the only baseball game I need right now. It's totally fair. The show is so awesome. Remake NHL Hits. I haven't played an NHL game in years because I felt like they got stale, so having a chaotic game like Hits with new rosters would definitely bring me back. And then erase Ready to Rumble simply because I've never played it. Nostalgia won't let me erase the other 2. I hate erasing games you haven't played, but when you're hooked on the other 2, it's hard. I understand. Girthis Hungwell said, easy. Play Ready to Rumble. The charm of those janky PS/Dreamcast graphics are chef's kiss. Remake NHL Hits because it deserves 120 frames per second 4K graphics of violent gentlemen vaporizing each other at high speeds. And then erase MLB Slugfest because baseball. Man, we got to do more baseball episodes just to defend that game a bit. And Piss Out My Ass said, play NHL Hits because PS2 era hockey games are so much fun as it is. Remake MLB Slugfest to have modern controls, maybe not as dynamic as MLB The Show, but something more modern for sure. And then erase Ready to Rumble because it looks goofy in an unappealing way, and I'd rather just play a wrestling or Def Jam game. I don't know. I mean, I like wrestling and Def Jam games, but Ready to Rumble doesn't look bad. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. You're wrong. I'm going with the majority of you this week. I'm going with the 29% of you that voted correct, as did Foz, who said, I'll play Ready to Rumble because the first one on the Nintendo 64 way back was awesome, and it'd be nice to revisit the series. I'll remake NHL Hits because I've already played the shit out of it, and I'd get a lot out of a remake. And I'm sorry, Slugfest, but I gotta erase you. I was more of a backyard baseball kid anyways, and we got the Super Mega Baseball games now. Different reasoning, same order. I have never played any of these franchises, to be honest with you. So I'm going to play Ready to Rumble because I love boxing games. It's like a secret thing of mine. I really enjoy boxing games. And Ready to Rumble looks awesome. I'm going to remake NHL Hits because we just need more arcade hockey games. I tapped out on the NHL, like the Chell series a few years ago. I got sick of just, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back eventually, but I just thought they're not as fun. Is that just me? I just don't find them as fun as I used to. I tapped out around like NHL, probably 18 or 19. I just don't find them as fun. And then I'm going to race MLB Slugfest. I would like to play it very, very much, but there's no sport out there that I actually prefer the simulation version of more than an arcadey game than I do baseball. Like, I actually prefer MLB The Show to like Mario Sluggers or Ken Griffey Jr.'s or any of those. I just love real hardcore simulation baseball games. So thank you to everybody that wrote in and played along as always. What have I been playing over the last 7 days, you might ask? I've been playing NFL Blitz 2000. You're about to hear all about that. I've been playing a ton of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time on my DS to get ready for hopefully next week's episode. I've been playing Mass Effect 3 on my Steamer. Fuck, the Mass Effect games are so good. To get ready for an upcoming episode of Remember the Game. And I started playing X-Men Legends on the PS2, which I have played before, but I haven't played in a long time, to get ready for another episode of Remember the Game. And then when I've got time, I'm still plugging away at Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. But most of my gaming time is spent playing stuff for the show right now, for the podcast, which is fine. I love old games, so I'm having a good time. I do need to get back to Prince of Persia though, so that I can start tackling. There's a lot of modern games that are on my list I need to get. It's just not a. I literally play video games for about 5 hours a day right now. Like, I'm playing a ton. And I still just not enough time to play everything. I don't know how people do it. Anyways, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause here. We're going to let a sponsor come in here, peddle their wares. And when we get back, it's all about NFL Blitz, okay? So we'll be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix, there's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's sink our teeth into NFL Blitz. Like I said, I have only played NFL Blitz 2000. That was the one that won our Patreon poll. My buddy Brad didn't play NFL Blitz 2000. He played the OG NFL Blitz. We're kind of just talking about the franchise as a whole here. I don't see us ever covering another one, like individually, but we're just talking about the franchise as a whole. So let's see what a few of you had to say here as I like to let my Patreon sound off on the games we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. Greg Roop said, "I love all these silly arcade-style sports games, but I hated the random button-mashing cheat code part of this. My buddy would always get the invisible player cheat and kick my ass so bad. I still loved that it was basically NBA Jam for football. I'll be honest, I fucked up. I meant to look up some cheat codes and try them for this, and I forgot. So tar and feather me for that. That's on me. But I like that they put them in there, though. Fitz Dickwell, oh, I get it, said this game becomes number 2 behind the incredible Twisted Metal 3 on playtime on my PlayStation. Spending hours playing co-op with my best friend as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in my basement. Frozen pizzas and Mountain Dews were crushed as we destroyed all those who walked onto the field at the hands of Alstott, Sapp, and Lynch. We still play it when we meet up now 24 years later. A timeless game that I truly love. I warned you guys, I don't know any classic football. I know Dan Marino. And I know Jerry Rice, and that's about all I know. I think it's Jerry Rice. I don't know. I don't know anything. But yeah, Buccaneers, eh? As a Rays fan, I can respect that. The Big Deal said, I played this a few months ago in an arcade 1-up on display at Sam's Club, and I forgot how much fun it is. I think the franchise holds up, and what a genius arcade mechanic this was to make you pay 4 times to play through a full game. Are you kidding? You had to pay per quarter? A quarter per quarter? Is that really? Really? I didn't know that. That's fucked. That's not genius. That's EA before EA, if that's true. I don't know if that's true, but that's fucked. Larry White said, being a bigger football fan than basketball, I was so ready for an NBA Jam-style football game. Unfortunately, football didn't translate to the action sport genre quite like basketball did. I never enjoyed the blitz games. The breaks in the action between plays just takes away from the constant action that occurs with an NBA Jam. Good thing they finally figured out the secret sauce to action sports football with NFL Street. Go Bills. I really want to play NFL Street because I haven't. I will agree. I just genuinely found NBA Jam to be a more fun experience than NFL Blitz. I agree with that, Larry. I like Blitz, but I get it. And Kugda said playing these games was the best. Personally, I prefer the arcade sports games over the modern simulation games. I haven't really enjoyed a football game since the 360 Blitz. There you go. Listen, I'm not a big Madden guy, so you're sure not going to catch me defending fucking Madden. That's for true. But let's get into it. There's some stuff about this game I really fucking like, and there's a couple things that just burn my ass. So let's do it all right now. My buddy Brad and I are talking NFL Blitz 2000 in my part, and the NFL Blitz franchise as a whole. I'm going to cue up some music, and when it stops, we will talk about the Blitz of the NFL, which released on all kinds of stuff back in 1999. NFL Blitz 2000 did. Whatever, shut up. Enjoy the podcast. I don't know anything about football. Let's go. All right, joining me via the blank phone this week to talk NFL. Listen, I probably said this during the infamous intro. We're just talking about the franchise as a whole. And before everybody writes in and yells at me for my lack of knowledge, this is going to be a little bit like the NBA Jam episode. I don't know who any of these players are. I don't know a lot about the strategy of football. I just know that I played this game. It's a lot of fun. Plus, our patrons picked it, so we have to talk about it. Talking the NFL Blitz franchise with a good buddy of mine you may remember from the NBA Jam episode, the Contra episode, and most episodes where we end up getting an argument with each other. It's my buddy Brad, not to be mixed up with Bradley McHugh, because I know we have a lot of Brads around here. Brad, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. I've been playing NFL Blitz 2000 on the PS1. But that's the only NFL Blitz game that I have played. And let's just start. How are you, this was fun. Where are you on these games? I assume you like these if you agreed to come on the show.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I'm always thankful to, help you out and do these episodes. And you always call me about sports that you didn't watch as a kid. And I did.
Yes.
I don't know. We just lived different lifestyles.
We very different lifestyles.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Did you? But did you play these? You must have played these ones growing up, eh? The Blitz games.
Well, I did mostly. I'm not gonna lie, it was more arcade for me. We did rent it a couple of times with friends, of course. It's one of those games again, like we talked about NBA Jam. It is totally to me. Its prime time gameplay is 2-player.
Yeah,
it's like you can tell, and I know this is a point that we'll probably get into in a bit, but I remember the key thing that I love about this game is I just remember again is the nostalgia, like the whole thing we've talked about many times before is walking into an arcade and going, "What is that?"
Yeah,
and that is a brand new game right at the front doors, like they always did. I remember they used to have signs that said "new game." Too in certain arcades.
Those are big deals, new games.
Yeah, and like NFL Blitz had the players on the side.
Yeah,
and like it was big time, and it was 97, which was when you look back on it, a lot of great games came out in the arcade, a lot of fighting games, but it was part of that sports era where they were like, okay, we have the realistic games, but now we're trying to do these different ones like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. NHL Hits is another one.
See, I have not, and that's one and I know that's so I didn't play a lot of basketball, football, or baseball games growing up, but I obviously played hockey. I've never played NHL Hits. And I get so much shit from people because apparently they're awesome, but I've never played them.
I never did. No, why? Why would I when I had NHL?
That was the thing. That was back when I liked, hockey's the one sport, I have baseball, where I prefer the simulation-y games. Whereas
I agree.
Basketball and football, I much prefer to just go off the rails and get zany. To this day, I'm still just... When did we do NBA Jam? It's probably about a year ago. And that was my first time playing NBA Jam. And I have went out since and bought it for both my Genesis and my Super Nintendo. I still throw it in and play it sometimes. I have become so smitten with that game. It is so
Good,
much
man.
fun. And
I love that though. That's cool. That's awesome.
It was awesome because I don't even know all the rules to basketball. So I was like, I don't want to play NBA 2K whatever and play like simulation.
Yeah.
I know it's there, but I'm like, I just know I need to get the ball into that circle over there. Let me just do that a bunch. And
well, that's fine. And that's great because you're still learning. And like, again, you just bought it for two systems that are so old, but that's so awesome that you still play it.
Oh,
it's so much fun because
it's fun.
That's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole point is like you still enjoy it. And there's always going to be those games that you really, really enjoy. Or there's those games that you want to try and beat from that era.
Yeah,
and they make you so angry that you're like, no, I have to finish this game. Battletoads and those wonderful games.
I'm working on Batman for the NES right now, and I can get to the final level, and I cannot beat it. And I don't mean to throw in an additional plug, everybody, but twitch.tv/remember the game. This is where I play these old games, and I swear my beard is like 5% grayer than it was before I decided I was going to beat Batman. That fucking game, the Joker can suck my whole ass.
You can get to the last level. I owned that game. I think I got to like level 3. I'm not going to lie. It was so frustrating.
I've been practicing.
It was a tough game.
I've been
Good
practicing.
for you. Well, you got a lot of time.
But I've also been practicing NFL Blitz, and when this one won our Patreon poll, I'd heard a lot of great things about it. I love the idea, more arcadey. Obviously, the big thing everyone talks about is how you can beat the players up after tackles, which is hilarious and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
But
it's a fun game.
I'm like, please let this be my NBA Jam of football because I've played the Maddens, and like, listen, we all know Madden sucks now. We all know, but there was a time when Madden didn't suck.
Oh, it was amazing.
And I always I liked them. But I always struggled. My problem with football games is that I don't I know the rules and I know that, but I really don't know if I was to explain to someone that barely knows the rules of hockey how to set up a power play and the box and everything, that would be foreign to them. That is to me what I was streaming NFL Blitz yesterday and someone was like, can you do the flea flicker? And I was like, I don't know what that means. I know very little about the strategy of football. And so I was hoping NFL Blitz would click with me like NBA Jam did, because every time I play Madden, I'm fine on offense, but when I get on defense, buddy, I have no fucking clue what to do.
Oh yeah, you're picking a guy and you're just running up there, you're just trying to kill the quarterback, and then wait, he just dumps it. He dumps it off to the corner. You don't understand.
It's
you're
so
the guy that should be over there. Yes, you're the guy that's you're supposed to be the guy to the left, but you went down the middle and you didn't cover. You didn't cover anybody.
And so that's what I wanted NFL Blitz to be, was just basic,
right?
And it is, and we'll get into the intricacies of it. I don't think it's quick with me quite as much as NBA Jam, but I also say I agree with you, and you beat me to the point. This game, much I think NBA Jam is still fine to play by myself because I'm not very good, so it's fine. NFL Blitz, I was sitting here playing it on stream, talking to the audience while I was playing it. I probably played a dozen games and it was good. But I was I could see picking up a case of beer and sitting there with one of my buddies playing this, or standing at an arcade cabinet at a beercade. I was I could lose hours of my life to just
100%.
shit talking each other and playing this game.
It is that primetime era of arcade games, 2-player games, where you're standing there, and I'll just go a little bit nostalgic. You got off school and you went to the Ready Mart and you were playing the arcade game, and suddenly it's 5:30. You're like, oh shit, I got to get home. But we just played Street Fighter, NBA Jam for 2.5 hours or something like that.
And I think
it's one of those games that it's good, it's solid, but as a solo game, it doesn't have the legs, even though it's got all the modes. It's got season modes, but again, it's the repetitiveness of 7-on-7 football.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
It's much better than the CFL. I would honestly rather watch a season of simulated NFL Blitz football than watch a season of the CFL. Ooh. I'm sorry to CFL fans, but the 7-on-7 and everything is pretty good time. It's fun.
Hey, Adam, don't worry. You're not offending any of your fans.
No, I don't think. Well, there's one. I know there's one. I'm sorry, Joe.
Oh, really?
You know who you are. I'm sorry, Joe. But this one, the thing, it was fun to play it by myself, but and especially with football compared to, frankly, maybe baseball. In basketball, you're constantly making, everyone's scoring all the fucking time. Whereas, and in hockey, you can score a nice goal and chirp somebody for a minute. But there's something about football when you hit that guy that's open behind everybody, and then the other player has no choice but to just sit there for 5 seconds. while you're running this ball down the field, and especially playing NFL Blitz, and you hear the players like, nah, 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 and shit like that as they're running it in. And I was like, I could see myself playing this with somebody else and just being absolutely infuriated, but also being like, as soon as he scores, I get the ball back, I'm going to run it up his fucking ass. And it's just like, and again, that's why I think baseball maybe is the only comparable, because if you crush like you fucking go yard, and the other guy has no choice but to sit there and watch that ball sail away. But there's something about a big football play that's just different.
It definitely hits different. The gameplay is, it's not, I don't want to say it's stop, start, but it is, because you got to choose your play in football. You got to do that. Like the difference between hockey and basketball is, and like NBA Jam or NHL Hits, even though I didn't play it, I guarantee it's the same thing as NHL, where it's just free flowing all the time. But now you're choosing plays. And when you do get that open play, or you do make that catch and you run it back, or anything like off a kickoff or something like that, which you're never going to do in an NFL Blitz.
No, you are not. No, you are not.
Yeah, like I have never seen a kick return in that game. Just reviewing footage from it, like the guys dive like 10 yards, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So if you can pull that off, you're the king of NFL Blitz. I'll give you that.
Totally.
But it's a solid game, and it's not NBA Jam. I'm just going to say that.
No,
but it is good. It's
still,
a solid game.
Totally. I still think NBA Jam up to this point is my favorite arcadey sports game ever. But but NFL Blitz is so like there's things I like and there's things I dislike about NFL Blitz. So one of the things that drives me, and this might just be me, that I'm not very good. That probably is what it is. This game, I didn't realize forever that I could turn the play clock off. And so I had 10 seconds to pick a play, and I'm like, I have no idea what to, especially because if you've never played NFL Blitz, it's 7-on-7. You have to get 30 yards to get a first down, but like gaining 10 yards in NFL Blitz is like gaining 3 yards in like a regular football. So that's not a big deal. Like it feels about the same. It's just because it moves, everything moves so fast in this game. You snap the ball, and I'm like, I feel like you've got about a second and a half to get a playoff. You're going to get sacked every time.
I don't have a copy of the game, and I reviewed footage of it, and a guy was playing it, and I'm not going to lie, he was playing it for the first time, and he's like, this is very hard. Why is everybody running at me within seconds? And it's pure timing, and it's one of those harder sports games that I could see. Again, we grew up in a time, and this still came out in that era where we had EGM. The internet was starting to kick in, but like in '97, when this game came out, I could see people buying it and probably hucking it against the wall, because until you figure out how to play this game solid, it is not easy. This game is not easy.
Dude, I was setting it to easy and just playing exhibition matches, and I must have lost a dozen in a row before I finally won one. Ironically, when I turned it up to normal, I forgot to turn it down to easy, and then I started winning. And I was like, okay.
Really?
But I did eventually, like, there was a couple of things I started to figure out, and it started to make it a little bit easier. I don't think it's got, like, and here's the thing is I think, like, I literally learned the rules of football because I bought an old copy of Madden. It was the one with Troy Polamalu on the front. I don't remember what year that was. But I bought a copy of it. It was right around, like, when Tebow was, because that's when I started getting into football, period. And I basically just played it and learned the rules, like how the clock stops and starts, the downs, that kind of stuff.
Wait. You didn't watch football ever?
Not once. I'd never watched a game before I bought that copy of Madden. Never watched one game. No. I just never, it never did anything for me.
Wow.
But like, really? so then playing this,
again,
like I'm learning, and but I do think you're right. Like I think if you know football, you'll probably play 2 or 3 games. And then if anything, it might just take a quick adjustment to get yourself out of Madden mindset of like, everything is slow and methodical and deep and just like, okay, get the ball, throw the fucking ball. You know what I mean? And then just mash tackle. Whereas for someone that doesn't really understand the intricacies, I'm like, okay, so like it's 2nd and 30, so they need 30 yards. And so I'm not picking plays where I'm like lining up on the at the line of scrimmage. I'm picking like deeper back plays. I'm like, I'll give up 10 or 15 yards.
Nice. There you go.
But then when I do it, it never fucking works. They always find somebody. And I would get so mad. And don't even listen. I understand there has to be I understand in any football game ever made, I get that there has to be a level of randomness when it comes to things like fumbles and things like that. But the fumble in a football video game is the single most rigged aspect of any sports game ever made ever. And I won't move off of it. It is so... I was playing one game on stream the other night where I was up 17-0 going into the half, and I'm like, I'm going to win this fucking game. I ended up losing that game because it was fumble. And I got so... Oh my God, I can't even fathom after 6 beers at a bar standing at that cabinet and you fumble the ball for like the 3rd time and your buddy starts chirping. I'm like, I'll fucking kill you. I will kill you. Fuck.
This game is literally meant for people like you if you're good at it.
100%.
100%. For you, because you and I work together, you have said awful things to me.
I have.
And you know how to really dig in when you need to. And playing this game, if you're good at it, you would make people leave.
Yeah, I can see that. I could totally. I still think the fumbles are horseshit, but I could see.
But the flip of the coin is this: if you're fumbling the ball and you're losing, I can see you leave because you're just because you can handle a lot of things, but the way you just reacted over 3 fumbles and NFL Blitz for what was it, PlayStation?
PS1, yeah.
That was
such horseshit.
Yeah, and it was made in what year was that made in? Like 98?
99. Yeah, 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're a much older man and you're reacting this way. Imagine you in 99.
Oh, buddy.
You would have broke something.
Oh, I would have lost my
something.
mind. I would have lost my mind. So like I do think stuff like that. I think stuff like that is shit. And you know what drove me crazy? You know when I started winning it? I don't know how you do this at arcades. So, because I've never played an arcade cabinets, I wanted to ask you this. So, in the console version, you snap the ball, and then the player all you do to throw the ball is you push X, and then you use your analog stick and point in the direction of whatever player you want to throw the ball to. And I think the player who's going to be your intended receiver is flashing. But it's hard to dude, the number of times that I had a guy open. And then I'd go to throw the ball to him, but then it would turn out that and it probably had something to do with the play I selected. So there was a different player was supposed to be the intended receiver. And that guy was in 2-man coverage, but was halfway to the guy I'm trying to throw the ball to. And the ball would go to him. And so finally I was going through the instruction manual and I found that if you hold down the L2 trigger, then it puts the square, triangle, and X under the three receivers. And then you can hit that button and throw the ball to that intended player.
Which is brilliant.
Oh, and then that's when I started winning, when I could pick the guy I wanted to throw the ball to. And I don't know if you remember this, but when you're playing at the arcade cabinet, I presume there's no L2 to see that. I assume that it is just push the joystick in the direction you want to throw it and hit pass.
More than likely, yeah. I don't remember that, but yes. Because there is no 100%, there's no L2. So it must be, I'm going to guess here, and I'm going to say it's like a Street Fighter move. You know what I mean? It becomes more rhythmic.
Sure.
What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're trying to shoot the fireball, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying, you just learn to just hit the up and the diagonal, and you're just hammering buttons.
Sure.
It becomes one of those games where you're just mentally training yourself to throw the football, compared to dropping back, taking the time, holding down a button, and then firing it.
Yeah.
Because you have to be quick. There is no offensive line.
Dude.
There is no offensive line in this fucking game.
Well, because again, and my football knowledge is limited, but it's 7-on-7. And so if you've got your QB, that's 1. And then I think you've got 3 guys for your line and then 3 receivers.
You get a running back, don't you?
Well, I think there's I think there's somebody behind you, but I don't think there's a play where you can hand it off.
Running back.
But there's
you can just run plays.
No, but at least not in the NFL 2000 on the PS1. There's no play for me to snap the ball and then turn around and hand it to my running back. I can either run it with the QB or I can I have to throw it to you can throw it to him, but you have to throw it to him.
Right.
But the point I'm trying to make is it's 7v7, and so it is like you said, you only have three members of your line protecting you. It is from the time I really struggled with it early on, because from the time you snap the ball, most plays you're lucky if you've got 2-3 seconds.
Oh yeah.
There is no, in sometimes when you'll call a play in Madden and you'll get the ball and it's almost like you could stop and have a smoke. before you need to get the ball away.
If you've got a great offensive line, if you've put the time in on your game, you get time and you can roll. And if you got a quarterback that can move, you can roll out. You can do anything you need. And this is, I don't want to say this is a downfall of the game a little bit, but it doesn't seem like there's any attributes towards the players. It's like everybody's on the same level, which I get, but it kind of is missing that. I felt like in NBA Jam, there were guys that were a little better than others, just a little bit. You know what I mean? It just feels like if I've got Randy Moss on my team, I felt like Randy Moss should get open a little bit. I got Jerry Rice. There's no. It just feels like everybody's the same, and go.
The thing I found, the one thing I did find was it was just some guys like Jerry. The last game I played on my stream the other night, I played as the Niners, and there were some guys like Rice where it did feel like it was like, man, it takes a lot to tackle this motherfucker. Whereas other guys, like, I'm like, it feels like they just trip. And I'm like,
yes, okay, I guess that's true. But that's the thing is, you still got to get them the ball.
Sure, 100%.
And that's where you know what I mean. It's like, to me, I think yes, they probably all have attributes and everything like that, and some are better. Like you said, it's tougher to tackle certain guys than others.
Yeah.
But I think the process of the game as itself, when the play starts, it almost feels like everybody's the same, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
But like, when you get the ball to the player, then it kicks in.
But which
is fine.
I also think though, like when you're playing an arcade game against a buddy of yours and you're each just drunk and you're putting in $1 or a quarter, whatever the fuck to play, like I'm honestly okay with that. I'm like, let's just have some, you know what I mean? Like it's like
I get you.
Like this game is clearly all about offense. It's all about just gunslinging and fucking around. Yeah. And obviously the tackles, which we'll get to in a second. So I struggled to learn it, but once I started to adjust it, I figured out how to pick who I was throwing it to, and I still don't. Everyone was telling me the go-to play was the bomb. They're like, use the bomb, you'll win. Just use that play. I must have made one completion with that play over the entire stream. And I was like, and again, I'm just not very good. And maybe that's all it is I just suck at this fucking game.
Yeah, but again,
I just suck.
The fans may not like this, but fuck you and your bomb play. Like challenge yourself and fucking call something else then.
Yeah.
Like just, I don't know. Like if you figured it out, great, good on you. But I don't know. There's no time for the bomb. That's the problem.
Well, that was the problem I kept having and again, maybe I just don't know what to do. But I was like, we would call these plays where
I'm wrong too.
I need my receivers to take off, and I was like, all right, guys, you can get open any fucking time now. And then by the time one gets open, I'm getting massacred.
And like that's my point. Is like it just felt like there's not a breakaway guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying that the game is bad. It's just like I kind of feel like you can score in this game 100%. There's no doubt that you can score.
Oh, you score.
It's like I don't know. It just feels like maybe I'm just shit at it too. If I was just shit back in the day playing it, I'm just like you said. It's like I couldn't complete the bomb pass.
Yeah, I couldn't get them.
I don't know.
But again, though, once I started to. And so if anyone listens to this has never played NFL Blitz, and then after listening to this, you decide to go, because I got my copy for my PS1 for like $10. Like it's available it's a sports game. Sports games are dirt cheap, most of them. Don't get frustrated if you lose in the first few games. Just stick with it. I think my big problem is it really did take me a couple of days to get out of, and I don't even play a ton of Madden, but it took me a couple of days to get out of Madden mindset. Much like, I'm assuming if all you've ever played is NBA 2K, whatever the fuck, and then you finally tried NBA Jam, and you're like, what the fuck? What is this? You just have to, like, it's a different game. And once I kind of figured out that it was a different type of game, and I kind of just, for lack of a better term, I just let my hair down and started just letting the ball land where it lay and have some fun with it. Yeah. I really started to have a good time. And then the big problem with it became, as you said, playing it by yourself. You can do an exhibition. You can do like just an 8-team tournament, or you can do a quick season mode. But the season mode is you're not doing trades. You're not looking at your stats. There's no trophies. No. It's just, you're just playing the game. I will say that like after a couple hours of playing it by myself, it was almost, I'm not saying it's on that level, but it almost, I was like, all right, well, I've had enough of this. Like this really needs to be played with if you were to have 3 or 4 of your buddies over and even go 2v2, I could play this game all night. It would be so much fun.
it's a solid 2-player game, 100%.
100%. Or four, like with the PS1, I know you can play a 4-player. I think 2v2 would be fucking insane because one guy is controlling the receiver, one guy's controlling the QB. I think that would be a fucking blast. And the chirping and stuff, my God.
It's funny, they talked about that, and it's only made as a 2-player game because what I read about this game is that the designers said we looked at doing 4-player, but they went 2-player because football has too much movement and too many like guys on the field, even at 7-on-7, that it's tough to pick a player and actually run the pattern and everything like that to have it on one screen, which I could totally understand when you really look at the logistics of the football game, is that if you do have 4 guys playing on the same field, you're going to run into trouble.
Sure, but that must have just been like the first version, because like the arcade cabinet you can get now, the one I was just playing, the 64, I played NFL Blitz 2000, like they're all 4-player.
Oh wow!
So maybe it was just like the OG or something, but because maybe it took them time to like figure out what to do with it, you know?
Exactly.
Which is like what you do, right? It improves on everything. I'm just looking right now. Oh yeah. So the original NFL Blitz was 2-player. And then NFL Blitz 2000 at least became 4-player. So they probably leveled it up as they went. But
exactly, it's evolution, I guess.
Even 2 players is all I really would have needed, just to sit there and play with a buddy. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a sports game, and no matter what, sports games are fun. I love the show.
Whoa! Not all sports games are fun.
True.
Modern Madden can lick my fucking sweaty taint. Modern Madden is
I'm not going to lie to you. It's totally off topipic, but speaking of football, I did pick up NCAA. I'm going to be starting that very soon.
People seem to be adoring it.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm too addicted to baseball. But that's it's one of those things where these games, to have 2 different styles of it, it just creates, like you said, if you get an opportunity to play it and everything like that, you've got more fans. And it's one of those things where you just became a fan of it because it's like NBA Jam. You didn't know it, didn't play it, but now that you have, I can throw it in every once in a while. Yeah. Like you just said, you're going to have buddies over at your place at one point, and you know what? You might say, hey, when's the last time you played Blitz?
Yeah, I want to see this brought back. Like I'm looking right now, and the last one released officially was 2012. And like we need more NFL Blitz. And I understand now people will be like, okay, you know what? Listen, okay, we're at 26 minutes. Let's let a sponsor in here. And then when we get back, I want to get into like some of the rule changes. Obviously, we got to talk about the hits, which is the highlight of the game for me. We'll get into all that. Let's take a quick break. Let's let a sponsor in. And then when we get back, we'll talk more about ending people's careers in the most comedic fashion possible. Okay, like I know we've been going for almost half an hour now. We've barely talked about the hits. Everybody has been telling me that that's the highlight of the NFL Blitz games is some of these hits. And now that I've actually sat down and played this game, I don't know if I would say it's the full-blown highlight, but it is easily the funniest part of this fucking game. Some of these hits, buddy, what the fuck? You're throwing like RKOs, leg drops, suplexes. I scored a touchdown on stream the other night where I got stopped at about the half-yard line, but the guy spiked me into the end zone and they called it a touchdown. And I was like, I don't think I broke the plane. I think I got spiked in there, but I'll take it.
I saw a video of a guy literally grabbing the guy by the arm and whipping him back 5 yards.
It's insane.
He just hucked him. And then out of nowhere, this guy just leg drops him. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck happened there?
That's the funnest part. And everyone was telling me that. Dude. They're like, dude, just mash tackle. Mash.
This is where you can see the evolution of the game when they, like you just said, I didn't like when it came to consoles, getting it up to 4 players, you and a buddy just destroying a quarterback, and then your buddy just comes over and just hammers him into the ground.
Yeah.
Even harder.
Oh my God.
And you're just dying laughing.
Some of the hits of this game are so ridiculous. And like, not even to mention the fucking wrestling moves you do.
Yeah. And then it's one of those things where you can totally see where the multiplayer or our buddy is needed, because you're pausing that game multiple times. We've all done it in NHL. We've all done it in NFL. We've all done it in NBA where you dunk on a guy or something like that, where you literally pause the game and you shit talk your friend and pull up the replay and show it again and again and say, look at you die.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
Here.
Well,
It's the epitome of the original hockey when you busted a guy's head on the ice.
Totally. And
it's hilarious.
In the modern one, they fucking removed the hits after the tackle.
Well, I think the NFL took a look at this game and literally being the boring NFL, and we're like, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Exactly.
I don't think they knew for a while what they were doing.
No, I think it's fucking ridiculous. I'm all for protecting players, all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm totally down with all that. Concussions are fucked. I'm totally down. I'm like, but come on, stupid arcadey video game.
Come on, thank you.
Like, Grand Theft Auto exists. So you're saying we can play Grand Theft, and I understand it's different owners on all that, but it's like, so we can play Grand Theft Auto, but I'll be goddamned if I'm going to let you drop a leg drop on a guy after you tackle him in our football game.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen. Well, and like that's the thing is like, I don't know, a really interesting story that I saw when they lost the license to the NFL. They did release another game where they were. You're allowed to get cortisone shots and steroids on the sideline.
Yes.
I haven't played that. I've seen videos of it. And I'm just like, you could just tell the makers were like, oh, you don't like leg drops? Yeah. Okay, well,
man.
Let's just show you what the NFL really does then.
And it's fucking rich.
So that might be a reason why we haven't seen a new NFL Blitz.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's fucking rich coming from the NFL. Like, raise your hand if the biggest thing you love about the NFL is their fucking ironclad reputation for protecting their athletes.
Exactly.
Where are those hands? Oh, no, nothing? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck right off. NFL, just let us have some fun.
NFL players there's players out there that played in this league that can't even lift their hands.
Yeah, let us, it's a video game. Let us have our fun.
And like, here's the thing, and your point is totally correct. The NFL has made huge advancements into fixing head injuries and trying to do different things. Like there's talks of in the future of like practices being different. They're using dummies now. They're using extra helmet protection.
Sure.
They're doing so many different things. But you're right. In the end, why can't I just leg drop a fucker after because it's fucking hilarious. The amount of times I saw a guy get tackled on these videos I was watching, and all of a sudden a guy comes flying in from off the screen, and it's just driving his head into the guy's head. And this guy's doing flips, and I'm like, what is happening here?
And you know what?
It's wonderful.
One of my favorite animations in the game too is that like you can tackle a man where you're like, that guy will never see his family again. But then 2 seconds later, you help him up. Like they'll grab him by the head. And pull him back
get up, buddy. You're fine.
And
then they score a touchdown on you. And you know what the best part of it is? It's fake. It's not real. So just let me play.
And the thing about it is, like, does taking away hits after the tackle, like, does that really take away from the end experience of the game?
Adam,
no. But it's not the point. Like, have fun.
But Adam, don't you know that we imitate life? So football players are going to go and literally leg drop and drop kick people after the play. No, it doesn't happen.
It's just fun.
And if it does,
it's a fun game.
And here's the thing: is the key point. If it has happened in any sport, that person is banned.
Yeah,
and they're told to get the fuck out. So just if you can make money and have fun, do you know how many people are begging for NBA Street back?
Yeah,
NBA Jam back.
Yeah,
every NFL Blitz. Like, they want update. Like, there's people updating rosters right now for NFL Blitz.
I know
there are.
It's wild. These games have a fan base, man. I'm a little bit nervous about this episode because I guarantee you we haven't gone as deep on this game as like some of the diehards want. I'm doing my best, guys. I don't know football. I'm trying. All I can say is like I want to get into some of the other things I love about this game. I actually like the 7v7. Outside of the fact that as a QB you've got about a second and a half to get rid of the ball. The 7v7 actually works out really well. And to be honest with you, with the way the graphics and the way the player sprites and everything are, I think if you ran 11 versus 11, I think, because that's what it is, right? Is it 11-11? Or am I thinking CFL? Oh, God. People are going to fucking lose their minds.
Whatever. Fuck them. I don't even know. And I watch NFL.
I watch the football every week. I watch football every year. But I've never actually.
I don't care. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You're not a coach. Fuck all of you. I don't care.
But the point I'm making is if you had full I am just looking it up.
Okay, good.
Because I now it's gonna bother me.
Well, to your point, like while you look it up and make us look smarter, edit this all up. Anyways, you look at it from the perspective of if you did have that many players, this game is not pretty. Let's just be realistic. Anybody that says this game is good looking, like it's not horrible, but when all the animations are going at the same time, it's not. It's a lot of people on the field, even at 7 versus 7 for this game.
It is
back in the day. It is. And the evolution of the game that I saw, like it does look better and cleaned up when it got onto the systems. It's still the late 90s, early 2000s, right? It's not like it's now. But in that sense, you can see that if it was full field, everybody was like the game was like Madden, but you could do all this shit, it would be a disaster.
So
it'd be way too much. And it wouldn't shock me if they tried to do that at first, and then they said, no, let's like they obviously took the NBA Jam model and tried to figure out numbers to work the same way.
I was just reading that it was inspired by NBA Jam. For the record, I was right. Yeah, it's 12 versus 12 in the CFL, which is what I thought it was.
Yeah, you knew that.
So
yeah,
the 7v7, I mean, first of all, as far as the graphics go, I'm not going to disagree with you. It is an ugly game, but I'm also like, I will fight tooth and nail to say the Nintendo 64 PS1 era of video games will go down as the ugliest era of video games ever. Like, I'm not saying the games aren't fun. I liked this game, but there was these are the baby days of 3D, and they're made of like weird looking Lego. That said, like
Midway, WWF or Raw's War, one of the fucking easily one of the ugliest games and shittiest running games in the history of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so bad, but when you saw it again in the day, wow, that's so cool. No, it's not.
Well, and I think with these types of like NBA Jam is 2v2 instead of the 6v6 normal basketball. I'm just kidding. I know it's 5v5. I know.
Okay.
I saw Space Jam. I saw Space. Literally three quarters of what I know about basketball I know from Space Jam. Like, but no, it's 2v2. NFL Blitz is at least the one I played was 7v7. I believe NHL Hits was 3v3. I don't know how much of that was based on the type of fast-moving, action-paced game we want. This works better. I don't know how much of it was our engine can only support these many players. But I honestly think when you're trying to get into more of a zany arcade, over-the-top, fast-moving action, all action, less strategy type thing, I think the fewer players works. Like, I never found the 7v7.
Less is more.
Right. Like, I think Madden, like, to try to play a slow-paced, methodical, chess-esque type matchup of Madden, 7v7, you'd be scoring games like 80 to 70 because there'd be so much room out there. This game, there's never any fucking room. And,
there's no time.
And I think it works. I don't know if I think if you'd gone fewer than 7 and it almost would have felt too empty, but more than 7 and it would have been like, I can't even tell what the fuck is going on. I couldn't tell what was going on at some points during these games anyways, which was fine.
No.
It works though.
Because that's the point, is that when you first start playing this game, it's pure chaos. It's kind of shit, but once you start getting the hang of it, again, it's challenging. That's the thing.
It's challenging.
It's a fun arcade game, but again, you're still being challenged by it, which is nice. It's a huge positive. It's an ugly game, but the ugliness works for what it is.
Yeah, it does.
So it makes sense. And again, I'm not trying to shit on the graphics, but like NBA Jam looks a lot better than this game.
Sure, but
it just does.
But and I've said this on this podcast. I've said this on this podcast ad nauseum. I think the Super Nintendo Genesis era, that 16-bit era of gaming, will always that is the gold standard for the 2D game. Like, that will always look great.
Yeah.
Whereas these are like, this is like the Atari of 3D. No offense to the Atari, but like, this is us. They're learning what 3D is.
They literally like, I remember getting my PS1 and putting in NFL Game Day, which was the Sony version of Madden.
Yeah.
And I remember they did like the first video was like a flyby of the stadium. And I thought it was so amazing. If you go look at it now, it is such shit.
Of course.
But again, it's just all about the imagination. It's all about the evolution of video games. Because you're like, wow, he looks like him. No, it doesn't. It's a bunch of triangles that kind of look like a football player. But that's okay. From where it went and like where it is now, it's scary. It's scary, but it had to start somewhere. And like you said, it's like when the Atari started. From the Atari, we got to Nintendo, and Nintendo we got to Super NES and Genesis, and like then it's evolution. But yes, there are parts of this game where you're still like, wow, like that's actually, it doesn't look bad for the time.
No, I honestly think where this game looks awful is like when there's a big pileup of players or like a turnover and the camera zooms in.
Yes.
When the camera, like once you snap the ball and the camera kind of pans out, I'm like, actually, it doesn't look too shabby. It looks kind of neat. It's blocky, but it's fine. It's enough that I listen, and I feel like this has become a catchphrase here at this point, but I'm like, graphics, in my opinion, I don't understand kids today that get mad because the blades of grass in a game don't look realistic enough. I'm like, graphics will always be so far and away from the top priority to me. Is your game fun? If it's fun, I could give half a shit what it looks like. And admittedly, when I started playing NFL Blitz, I was like, I don't know if I was saying that I think my favorite football game is still Tecmo Bowl. I love Tecmo Bowl.
Would you? Okay, like here's the question for you, in the sense of like what you do, as this is like, you know, your job and how many games you play. It's very interesting that people talk about the blades of grass and everything, but some of these very small games that are designed that you love, like I can't even, like these side-scrolling small RPG little games that get released that you love, and you just say to people, you got to get them. And even when you look at the Switch and these smaller games that get released that everybody loves, graphically, they're not good.
No.
Like, it's not where it's not Red Dead Redemption or it's not the new Grand Theft Auto. But the point, like you just said, is like, you people complain about the grass, but then you're playing these games, just relax.
Yeah, I can make a phenomenal omelet. It looks like a dog puked in the pan. Yes. But it tastes really good.
Usually those are the best. Yeah. Let's be honest.
And I'm like, just make it fun. And this game is fun. I love the 7v7 aspect. I will say when I fired it up, I was getting mad. And then as I got better, I was like, no, this is pretty dope. I can't decide and I know this might be sacrilege to some of you, I can't decide if I like it better than Tecmo Bowl, because I really enjoyed. But I think part of what Tecmo Bowl is just, I'm such a simp for the NES. I'm going to love anything on the NES.
If I had to choose right now, you could play one or the other. I'm Tecmo Bowl.
I feel like if I'm playing it multiplayer, I'll take Blitz. If I'm playing it by myself, I'd rather play Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, because I think
I don't think anybody can get mad at that. No, honestly,
I think that
this is a 2-player game, bar none. 2 to 4. If you can get 4 on it, oh man, you might be getting into it. Like if you don't know the guys playing, like imagine going into an arcade. If you and I walked into an arcade back in the day and we were playing 2 guys at NFL Blitz, those guys would beat us up.
Oh, I do today. I'd get fucking. Oh, you mean like literally, because I wouldn't shut up.
Yes, because we would shit talk the fuck out of them if we were winning, if we were good. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like we would shit talk our way into a fight.
And then
Yeah, and then it's one of those games.
It does other things that I like. I love that you don't have to do the extra point. If you choose extra point, it just says extra point is good and moves on. I'm like, there you go. When I fired it up and saw that it was 30 yards for a first down, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then because I was like 3 first downs and you basically have to score. But then I realized
it's scoring. That's what they want. They just want scoring.
That's it. And the way the game moves, like anything shorter than like you. It's very, very, like, I don't know about you. Like, when I was playing it, dude, I bet you I've only punted the ball half a dozen times. Okay. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm either scoring or I'm turning it the fuck over because I suck.
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck it. It's more
NFL
fun.
Blitz. This isn't NFL. There's no coaching.
No.
There's no strategy.
No,
it's
none.
I'm gonna score, or I'm going to leg drop the fuck out of somebody if they score on me because I don't care.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. There's strategy, but come on, we're talking basics. We're talking basic strategy.
Another thing it does
sorry, but it's a lot of luck. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, there's luck.
This game is there's luck in this.
Another thing it does that I really like, and it clearly drew inspiration from NBA Jam, was I never fucking got there, but I still can't fucking get there. But I know in NBA Jam, if you're good, you get the he's on fire thing. I like that in this one, you have your turbo meter at the bottom. And I think it's either if you sack the QB X number of times in a row or you hit the same receiver X number of times in a row. But then your turbo meter lights on fire and then you're untouchable. And when your turbo's running and then you're doing things like hurdling guys or the fucking when you have the right receiver and you strong arm, It looks like
Well, it's
It
beautiful.
looks like
It's
bowling.
a thing of beautiful.
It looks like
Yeah,
bowling. It's fucking hilarious. You just plow
No,
through these
it's
fucking guys.
yeah. They've got a lot going for it in the sense of just, again, it's fun. You want to score, and you know what? A very underrated thing in this game. But even if you don't get the first down, but if you can get in field goal range, they made field goal kicking pretty easy.
Yeah,
Like
the
it's
field-
not
yeah,
like
it is
it's
easy.
dry. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But at least because you know why? They want you to score.
But
So
now-
even if I'll take the 3. If I'm in range, and I'll take 3.
But
So
now,
just smash
that's
people.
interesting because maybe this is why I keep losing. But I'm like, field goals are for pussies, and it's like, well, but coach, we're 4th and 26, and I'm like, well, then you better start fucking running. I hate
Yeah,
kicking
exactly.
field goals.
You need 27 is what you're saying.
Field goals are for pussies. But
That's fair.
I suck. I suck though. So
No, but that's still, again, it's about scoring, and it's a fun 2-player game. For sure.
totally. And then I love that, like, all these old games. One thing that games need more of these days are the cheat codes, like being able to go like infinite turbo, big head mode, all that kind of stuff. Like games need more of that shit. I feel
they need to charge you more money to get skins.
Yeah, that's
fucking scumbags. It's no fun anymore, man. They took all that away.
There's something about, in particular from this era, because there was a lot of cheats and like you think like GoldenEye and all those. Like there was tons of cheats from this era, but like. Listen, I love gaming. I loved gaming when I was a little kid. I love gaming today. I've loved gaming my whole life. But there's something about this that, like, I genuinely feel like the Nintendo 64, PS1, that late 90s era, I feel like that was the last era where gaming was just like, and I'm trying to figure out how to say it because I still think gaming is fun, but gaming was innocent. There was no micros. There was no internet. There was no DLC.
Right.
They put in these cheat codes and shit. You found them and you just played the games over and over and found stuff. And I feel like every time I go back and play one of these old games, like lately I've been, for old stuff, I've been playing Batman on the NES. I still play NBA Jam on occasion. And then I've been playing Super Star Wars on my Super Nintendo. And there's something about, and playing NFL Blitz 2000 for the first time in my life over the last week, it clicks with me in the same thing. There's something about that era. There's just I'm sure a lot of you that are listening get what I'm saying. Like there's just a magic about retro games that modern games just don't have.
I think it became such big business.
I think so too.
In the sense of like, I think game designers and all these guys love video games. I think they care about what they do. But back then it was more, I don't know how many people work on a video game now, but when you hear about story, like, yeah, exactly. But when you hear about stories of these games, there was like 8 guys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Dude.
Like on an NES game, they're like, well, we need to make something. Let's make a Dracula game or some shit. What are we going to call it? I don't know. Castlevania. You know what I mean? Like it was just bare bone guys sitting there going, well, what if we threw in fucking, I don't know, you could go through that door. What do you mean? What door? Make a door there.
Yeah.
Well, do you want it visible? No. Well, what do you mean? Just make a door there that'll take you right to the last level. See if some fucking asshole will find. You know what this is one of those things where I want just to go on a small side story, but I want a show like that where they talk about that. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Where they talk about an old video game where we said, yeah, we threw in this cheat code and somehow I always think of these things where how did we figure out or how did we learn about these codes before the magazines?
I know.
Before the internet.
100%.
Before all that shit. Like, how did we know, like, how did you know, like in Super Mario 3 to get the fucking flutes and like, who figured, like,
well, because we watched The Wizard.
Well, yes, which again,
I know what you're saying though.
I love that movie. I love that movie, and I rant to people of how that movie came out, and they're like, "Get the flute, bitch! This is new. How did you know?
How did you know
like,
the flute was there?"
Yeah, exactly. Like I love that. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But you're right. It's all about money, and I'm not trying to be dark and be like it's not the same, and we're two old guys yelling about video games, even though we are. It doesn't have. I feel like there's not that. There's a team effort, but it's all about that. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
How do we get more money out of it? than, hey, let's put this gold basketball in the online world in this case and see if somebody will fucking find it. And if they open it, they get 3 million fucking points to buy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just no fun. There's still fun things. And I'll say, my last point is the only game that probably still does that is GTA. You know what I mean? But there's still, and like, I mean, you still find things in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like they still add things. Like you might find a house that's got a car in it. Like some people post it online. I'm like, holy fuck, they found that. Yeah. Like there's certain things they do. Of course, there's still money involved and everything is like that. But you're right. It's not the same.
See, I feel like indie games have kind of become the new retro games where they're smaller budget and they're just focused on being fun. But I guess to kind of wrap this up, I don't know what else to say. Like, there's really not a ton of meat on the bone in this game. It's you have 3 books. If you have 3 pages of plays on offense, 1 page, which I didn't know about until halfway through my stream yesterday, and someone's like, you can switch pages, and I was like, oh my god, look at all these. There's not a ton of plays. There's not a ton of players. It's just fun, and I'm going to score on this game in a minute, and I don't know if I liked NFL Blitz as much as some of you diehards liked NFL Blitz. I know I don't like it as much as NBA Jam, but I still enjoyed it. It was still fun. It was the epitome of retro gaming. It was just like, we're not taking ourselves seriously. Do whatever the fuck you want. Fuck around and have fun. And I was playing this, like, to be honest with you, you know what made it really hit like a multiplayer game was even playing it by myself. I had like a YouTube video on or a TV show, and I was like, this is fine. When I was streaming it and people in the chat were like laughing and chirping and calling out plays, and I was like, just that was this is the epitome of like, it's a party game. Fuck was it? It was a really fun, stupid little game that I'm glad I bought it. To be honest with you, I've always said I would like to get an NBA Jam Arcade 1-Up cab now because I like that game so much. I'm not as sold that I want an NFL Blitz one, but if I ever saw one cheap, I think I'd scoop it just for the occasional poker night. Once people are out and they had a couple of beers, let's get over there and just start. All you got to do is like long bomb, and just chirp each other and just have a good fucking time. And I will say I genuinely enjoyed it more than any Madden I've played. Wow. I just find Madden 2, even back in its glory years, which I didn't play a ton of back then, I just don't. I prefer the arcadey version of football. Like, I don't need to worry. I don't know. Like, they're like, you're offside. And I'm like, oh, am I? I don't know what an offside in football is. I'm glad that there aren't any in this. You can't go offside in this. Just let me mash tackle and run around and hurt people. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, they just drop a giant fucking leg drop out of nowhere.
And the Broncos are pretty good in this game, which helps.
Oh, God.
They are. Broncos. So are the Niners, though. The Niners are good in this game, too.
Well, hey, Steve Young. Hey, but I will say, to your point, it doesn't have a lot on it, but it's just one of those games where, like you said, it was that era. It was an end of an era where it was still really fun. Yeah. The new versions are still fun. But yeah, it hits a lot of points where you nailed it in the sense of like 4 guys or 2 guys just standing there. Yeah. And like, even as a 2-player game, I could totally see setting up, you know what I mean? Getting out a piece of paper and just writing it down. Okay, we're going to do a quick NFL Blitz tournament. Let's go. Yeah. And absolutely. Just 2 guys go first and just start build a little schedule. Okay. Yeah. Everybody. Okay. Now the next one. Boom. Yeah. We're done.
Yeah. You're the champion. I'm on the Wikipedia page for it right now. And I've been just kind of scrolling through the reception area, and basically every review is like, as a single player game, it's kind of meh, but multiplayer, it's about as fun as it gets. And I will say that, like, cause we're going to score it here in a second. If it just had and I understand the emphasis was on the multiplayer, but like, if it just had 20% deeper season mode, like enough to like, because clearly it's an arcade port, and an arcade port, they're not worrying about the single player. They want multiple people playing because that's where the money is. I understand that, but if they had just like trades and a little bit more, do you know what I mean? Like a little bit, I would have loved it.
To me, I would have concentrated more on the game itself than put those modes in. And I'm not saying it needed to be a lot better, but I wouldn't even have those modes. I would just be like, fuck it. It's 7-on-7. You and a buddy are shit talking. More plays. Take all that shit out, like the season mode, and just more plays, more maybe subs, more players you could pull in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get
just
that.
I would look at more at the gameplay to make that better than adding modes.
Well, I didn't have any friends, so
that's fair.
Fuck. All right, we got to score this thing. I'm thinking out of 30 because you need 30 yards for a first down.
Okay.
Which I think the CFL should implement.
Well, they're dying, so they could probably need some sort of line.
So we're going to go out of 30. Brad, out of 30 yards, how many yards are you going to give NFL? Well, I mean, I'm talking NFL Blitz 2000, but we'll just talk NFL Blitz. Your experiences with NFL Blitz. How many yards do you give NFL Blitz?
Okay, well, I'm going to give it a 22 out of 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a solid, fun game. You know what? Again, I'm not gonna lie. I played more of it in the arcade when it first came out. I remember it coming out. It was, again, 97. Come on, it's a huge year. It was a lot of arcades still existed. Fuck's sakes, I miss an arcade. Solid game, good fun. Not as good as NBA Jam, but it held its own and it did the job. So it's a fun game for sure. Again, multiplayer, yes. Single player, no.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it. Like, I feel like a 20 out of 30 is too low, but I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. That was the first number that came to my head. I felt the exact same way. 20 out of 30 is 20 is too close to 15. 25 is too close to 30 in this game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like, if I was scoring out of 10, I'd give it like a 7 and 0.5. It's fun. It was fun.
Oh, wow, really?
It was fun.
Okay.
I think it'd be more fun to play with friends, of course. But I did enjoy it. Here's my biggest issues is that I didn't find it nearly as easy to pick up and play as I did NBA Jam, which, to be fair, football, in my opinion, is a more complex sport, at least in video game form. So I didn't find it as easy to pick up and play. Once I started to get a feel for it, I was having a good time. As someone that likes single player modes, it's my personal I need a little bit more single player meat. That's all.
Because you don't have friends.
Exactly. But nevertheless, and listen, I want y'all to understand the respect I'm putting it in the NBA Jam, NHL 94, that ecosystem. It's just like, dude, you're sitting around and you just want a fun sports game to pick up and play 2 or 3 games. It is a good fucking time. And if you've never played it, again, you can scoop it for pennies. Even if
I've seen it out there.
Yeah, even if you were to buy it for just one afternoon. Dude, that stream I did of this the other night, I had so much fun playing this game just with people chirping it. It is a really and then people in the chat were like, dude, this is actually a very entertaining game to just watch somebody play too.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
So what are you giving it?
20. I'm giving it a 20. It's fine.
Oh, you're going 20. Okay.
I'm going 20.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fun.
It's a solid game.
I want it back. The NFL needs to quit being fun sponges and fucking bring it back.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
I think Midway and them kind of burnt that bridge when they did the cortisone steroid game and said, go fuck yourself.
Well. Brad, as always, really good time talking with you, buddy. And I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if I ever get my hands on one of these arcade one-ups, we'll get you in here. And we'll have some beers and it'll turn, I'm sure it'll get physical, but we know who will do that.
Well, you do that and I'll put you through a window. I don't care.
Fuck. And Broncos better than Niners. Not this year. Not this year. Not this year.
Not ever.
I don't know if the Broncos could win in the CFL this year, but it's gonna be ugly. Anyway. Okay, we'll cut it. Guys, Brad, thanks for doing this, man, as always.
Thank you as always, man.
And that'll do it for this week's episode. Brad, thank you so much for giving me a call and chatting a little NFL Blitz. And I'm assuming if you're hearing this, you didn't rage quit the episode halfway through when we were trying to talk about how many players there are on the field. The only reason that confused me was because I knew there was one more in the CFL than the NFL. And for some reason, I was second guessing myself if it was the CFL that had 11 or the NFL. But I was right. And if you're a CFL fan and I offended you, well, what are you going to do? Thanks for listening, everybody. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you liked it, leave us a good review. If you didn't like it, you can leave a bad review or you can just go listen to something else. Like fucking, I don't know, leave me alone. If you want more of these, patreon.com/remembertheGame, son. There are hundreds. Like, well over, we're about 240 expansion passes, about 200 game patches, about 150 rambling idiots, and about 65 Purple Monkey dishwashers over there with 4 new episodes going live every week. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. They're there. They're ad-free, and listen to them and enjoy them and stuff. And if you want to see me over on the old Twitch box, you can. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. It's free. Just come by, hang out, lurk, whatever you want. I play old games and swear and talk games, and it's usually a pretty good time. Is there anything else I want to plug? No, I think that's it. I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow for our Patreons with Expansion Pass 224, where we'll talk about the funniest games we've ever played. And 7 days from right now, we'll be back with Remember the Game number 307, which, if my schedule allows me to finish it in time, will be about Mario and Luigi Partners in Time for the Nintendo DS. I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Thanks for listening. You get out of here too. We'll talk later. Cheers. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So in alphabetical order based on the email addresses you registered to Patreon with. A huge thank you to, this is the toughest one because it's all over the map. This is just trying to keep my brain sharp. A huge thank you to Tyler, A.B. Killen, Just a Fish, Adam Martinet, Band, a dude named Adam, A-Town, Alex R., Itchy Nutsuru, Andy Hudson, Dave Thompson, Toby O.P., Andrew Wright, Benjamin Atkins, Zamatos, Brendan DeZeba, Hegel Waffle, Dan Fusselman, Dan of Dissect That Film, Biddy, Nerdy Hybrid, Nordak, Blobby Rogers, B Money, Matt Babineau, General Fury, Elijah Burns, Roger Stawbox Pool Cleaner, Bula, Burt Macklin, Hitchy Poo, Cody Thompson, Adam Blake still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Ragged Fart 69, Chris Fleury, Chaz Hammond, Chris Hill, There Is No Cake, Beat on the Moan, Triple, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Christian Gabriel, Christopher Britt, Drugs Are Bad, okay, James Clark, Spider Cat, Cody Richardson, The Fletchman, Yes It's True, This Man Has No Dick, Juris Dr. Mario, Robier, Cesar, Crystal Lake Management, Combo Chuck, Fallen Snow Kiku, Archangel Otaku, Daniel, Darbles, Dave McGee, Decoy Man, The Supreme Chozorizo, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Doug Dorn, David Schroeder, Dem Boys on the Roof, Scotty McGee, Joe the Sandman, Super Jess, Ida Yellow, Eric Hopewell, Eric James, E-Man Trucker, Big the Cat, Confused But Still Here, Growlywog, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Brant Hewitt, VOS Rager, Graham Kennedy, G9PSX, Maverick Marty, Jameer Williams, Diablo Spartan, Fill Up My Farts With Mouth, Faded Suffrage, Holmes, Liquor Like Luigi, Phil Lencher, Isaias, James Juan Francesco, Radioactive Man, Sharonic, Max Lagroom, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Can't Destroy Her, Jake Carter, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, J Nasty 15, The Big Deal, Jay Callahan, John M. Watkins, Beaver Boy, Laces Out Dan, Johnny from Virginia, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Chuggy 22, Jordan, Jeff Bergeron, Stud Still Smash, Rated X, Int, No One Cares, Justin Blair, Fill Up My Mouth With Farts, Sleeper Hit, Alexander Camps, The Keegs, My Left Nut, Kevin Monroe, Marcus Mendoza, Ryan Kinchin, Postman, Aaron Lawson, Leo, Gabe, Mark Sneed, Lucas Shaman, Leroy Westrich, Angry Ticks, Alex McIntyre, Putterton H, Savage Boosh, Lord Salazar, Just Car Pranks, Beef Dingleberry, Mellow Yellow 8787, McCracken, Adam's former assistant, Standard Ass Brian, Zonko 504, Morgan, Nathan Tremblay, Cam Nelly 23, Maverick, Nick Creature, Busty Meadle, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Wilco, Frosty Bear, Lord Palmerston, Ryan Perry, Wimp 15, Lotus, Plow King, Alex Ramos, Randy Barrett, S. Big Daddy Randall, Titan 420, Brian Richmond's Monstrous D. Boner, Why the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Row, Madam Nutsitch, Dazarith, Rills, Squeaknut, Sabin, Mercury 869, Max Sandin, Sam Carpenter, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scott Brooks, blank, Steve Dalk, Shank the Rat-Faced Bastard, Zen Paladin, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Super Saiyan Sephiroth, DBXJ, Shoeboxers, Captain Steve N, Jimothy, AJ McCurgy, Sour Goatface, Squints, Ryan Stemmerding, Atrial Wormwood, Funky C, Funky Do, nice, Ted Explosion, Frosty Feet 492, Scary Terry, T-Bear 87, Mike Maloney, Glue Scoppin, Tadpole, Thomas Smith, Theodore, Timothy Sabrinsky, Doogie, Youngster TK, Tom Hooligan, Beers of War, Fuzzy 99, Quiet Place Queen, Travis Sanders, Mr. Jabroni. I canceled my Netflix to afford this shout out. H. Smagai, Because 19, Tyler Bauer, Wolf Magic 21, Lord Long Ron Von Hugendom II, Ryan Whitcomb, John Woodruff, Rush's Dog Walker, Works for Me, Wolfgang Darren, Earl, Darth Skywalter, Kia Pup, Mizuru, Joe Buck, Z Train 22, Zane Donovan, Guy Who Does Things, Zach Shepard, and Matt Zeus. That was a pretty good batch of shout outs. Puppy? She doesn't care. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you. Talk to you later. Cheers.